this goes here.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust. That's been said a lot of times over the last 19 or 18 years, I think. Welcome. Call to order. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the January 16, 2018 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We have financial reports. Being nothing to say. I would ask the group to go ahead and approve all the financial reports that we did not see. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Been moved. Need a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next, we're being asked to adopt a resolution terminating architectural services contract with GSB, Inc. for the Oklahoma City Public School District Administration Building, Project ES 36.
This is a contract that we've had out there that was originally initiated for the administration building on Klein, and I just want to point out that GSB has not done anything wrong to have their contract terminated. They've done a fine job. It's just that the project is not going to go further, and they've decided to do something else, and we will not be renovating Klein. So in order to get the contract off the books, we are going to terminate that contract.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I will second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next, we're being asked to approve the assignment of contract for architectural services for the Cesar Chavez Elementary School from Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust to the City of Oklahoma City, Project ES 83.
These next four items on the agenda are because of the end of the trust here today, and the contracts that we have outstanding will be assigned to the City of Oklahoma City, and we'll continue, but without the trust being here.
Is there any problem with going ahead and voting on all four of these at the same time? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion, or go ahead and adjust the motion to include all of the contracts 4 through 8?
I'll make that motion to adjust all four contracts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We now have a joint resolution recommending the City Council and OC Maps Trust take all required actions to terminate the trust.
I thought it was appropriate today to ask Mr. Winger to join us. If you'll recall, Mr. Winger was here when when this program started, and as I said, I thought it was appropriate that he was here for the end. And then also, City Manager Jim Couch would like to say a word here.
Okay. Mr. Winger had brown hair like I did when this thing started. You look kind of like me now.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank the trustees. This has been a long process. We called for the election. The trust was actually formed, I think, in the fall of '01, and then we had the election and probably didn't have the first meeting until sometime in early '02. And the trust has done a great job. First of all, the time and effort you put in has been fabulous. 4 of the trustees have been here from the beginning, Valerie and Carl, and along with J.W. and Pat Rooney. You don't see that too often. And obviously, thank you, Anthony, and Carrie for your. Carrie was on just a year or two after 2 years probably after we kicked it off. But I think you need to reflect on a couple of things today. One is that you've collected over $500 million in sales tax dollars and administered that without an issue. I mean, just in no scandal, perfect well. Plus, you did administer the $180 million worth of bond that the school had that was passed at the same time in '01. And then subsequent to that, you've administered the '06, '07, whatever year the bond issue was, the second bond issue with the school district. And again, they've done that well. And although the school district has had some challenges and they haven't gotten everything quite in line in the classroom, they do have pockets of excellence in the school district, and we do really need to recognize that. But I think we should reflect back on the fact that if we hadn't done what we've done with the buildings and taken that burden off of the school district and not having to worry about having dilapidated buildings and inadequate facilities for the kids, the Oklahoma City School District, even with the challenges they have today, wouldn't be to the level they are today. And so I think you should all take pride in the fact that what you've done over the last 17 years and what you've done for the kids of Oklahoma City Public School District, and also administering the funds for the other 23 suburban school districts in the area. So I just wanted to say thank you for your time and effort and for making a difference in the education process in Oklahoma City. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments regarding number 9, the joint resolution recommending the City Council and the OC Maps Trust take all required action to terminate the trust? And all that other language there, I would recognize a motion that we approve it.
Move approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Next, we have an agreement terminating the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust, number 10 on your deal. I'd recognize a motion to that effect.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Dennis, how about an update?
All right, one more. Sometimes we tend to overfunction, and Mr. Todd caught me right before the meeting started and suggested that this update needed to be moved forward, because if I gave it afterwards, it really wouldn't mean anything, which maybe it doesn't mean anything anyway. But I reminded him that this really doesn't happen until the City Council takes action on all this next week. I'm just trying to get a little bit more mic time here.
That's great.
Maps for Kids projects. Construction is nearing substantial completion on the Cesar Chavez Elementary School project. The furniture has been delivered and installed, and the final fire marshal inspection is scheduled for this week. The design process is moving along on FD Moon renovations. 90% construction drawings and specs are being prepared and should be submitted soon. The preliminary report for the Capitol Hill High School Spiegel Stadium roadway parking lots and storm sewer reconstruction project is complete and will go to the school board on March the 5th for recommendation, and then on to City Council later that month. And finally, A&E selection is underway. We should be coming to the end of that selection process for the Capitol High School Spiegel Stadium parking traffic movement study and building site improvements. That's all I have.
Any other questions? With regard to comments by trustees, staff, and citizens, I personally would like to thank Francis and all the other employees of the city who helped us dramatically get through this long ordeal. Several of you have been here the whole time. Did you ever miss a meeting? I didn't think you did. But seriously, we could never have gotten there without all of your all's efforts to help us do this, and appreciate very much those of you that have been on the board for short terms, long terms, and forever terms. And Valerie probably gets a medal somewhere in there for having stepped in as chairman a whole lot when I was gallivanting around and everything. And Mr. Williams, Mr. Wiley Williams, thank you for your efforts in helping us get the documentation the way it should be. And I don't think I missed anybody. I know that Mr. Winger out there did a great job when he was doing his part. And David, thank you. So that's my comments.
I just want to make one comment, though, in appreciation for your service, and I know it's not much, but we do have a token, something that you can put on your shelf and remember this, hopefully in good light, but we'll be giving those to you after this.
Great, thank you.
Carl, I do want to say also thank you to the staff. And Mr. Winger did have brown hair, and he was significantly younger. And remember those days that we started 15-plus years ago with Maps for Kids. And I remember even with Project Kids, those early days before the bond issue. But to see what we've done has been remarkable, and we could not have done it without the great city staff.
That's right. Why is it you're the only one who haven't aged any? Yeah. You look just great. It's just like you looked.
Can't give up my secrets, I'm sorry.
If I may, Mr. Chair, I think the one group that you did not mention is the citizens of Oklahoma City and the voters who passed these taxes and bond issues some 19 years ago. But it was very transformative. And I think importantly, it should be mentioned that in order for a city to use its sales tax for a school district, some constitutional changes had to be made. And Oklahoma City was very foresighted in doing that and understanding the importance of the public school districts to the health of the city. So that's just a really important thing that was done way back when, and it benefited not only the Oklahoma City Public School District, but some 20 suburban school districts. And so everyone owes a debt of gratitude to those foresighted men and women who made those changes over 20 years ago.
Thank you. Good comments. Does anyone else have any comments? Seeing none, I'd recognize a motion to adjourn for the last time.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thanks to everybody. We're adjourned.